What if I told you that the most powerful people in this world are the ones you never see coming? The ones who don't announce their arrival with a flash of brilliance or a roar of ambition. The ones who strike from the shadows, silent, unseen, and deadly. They don't fight in the open. They don't wage war with their fists or their words. They wait. They watch. And when the time is right, they move. Power isn't meant for the loud. It's not for the ones who boast of their strengths. Power belongs to those who can hold their tongue when the world demands they speak. It belongs to those who wait in silence, their mind sharp and their patience sharper. It's for the ones who understand that the greatest weapon is not the sword or the gun. It's the quiet, unrelenting will to dominate without ever showing a single sign of struggle. The loud ones? The ones who parade around demanding attention, desperate for the world to recognize their worth. They'll burn out in the flames of their own ego. They'll make too much noise, and someone, somewhere will notice. And when they do, their downfall begins. The ones who understand power, the true masters, never make a sound. They let the world think they're weak, complacent, harmless. And then, with a single calculated move, they bring everything to its knees. It's not enough to rise to the top. It's about understanding when to strike and when to remain still. It's about mastering the art of control, not over others, but over yourself. Patience, silence, and precision. The shadows are your home. The darkness is your ally. And when the moment is right, you'll emerge from it, unstoppable, untouchable. Are you ready to wield that kind of power? The power to strike when no one is looking, to crush your enemies without them even realizing they've been defeated until it's too late. The power to move through the world unseen, yet control everything that happens in it. Step into the shadows. The light is not your friend. In the darkness, you will learn what true power really is. Power doesn't come from brute force. It doesn't come from the loudest screams or the most obvious displays of strength. No, true power is far more sinister, far more invisible. It's a force that moves in silence, creeping in the dark, slinking into the quiet corners of the world where no one dares to look. It is not the force that announces itself. It is the one that waits in the shadows, watching, calculating, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The greatest masters of this world, the ones who control kingdoms, the ones who shape history, they aren't the ones who stand tall, waving their banners, screaming for attention. No, those are the fools. They're the ones who think power is about volume, about noise, about showing the world how strong they are. They are the ones who burn bright, but burn out just as fast. The true masters, the ones who rule without question, the ones who move nations without lifting a finger, they are the ones who move in the shadows. They don't seek attention. They don't flaunt their talents, their strength, or their intelligence. They wait in the darkness, unseen, but always in control. They don't need the world to see them because, in the end, they know something the loud, weak masses don't. The most dangerous ones are the ones you never see coming. And today, I'm going to show you the path. Not the path of brute force, the path of glory through bloodshed and sweat. This path is darker, more subtle. It's a path to power, a path that leads to ultimate victory, ultimate dominance. And it doesn't come from being the loudest or the strongest. It doesn't even come from being the smartest. It comes from being the most dangerous in the room, even when nobody sees you. It comes from mastering the art of waiting, watching, and knowing when to strike. It's not about the fight you can see, it's about the war you can't. It's about knowing when to step into the light, and when to stay in the shadows, letting the world think it has you figured out. But in reality, you are the one pulling all the strings, the invisible force that manipulates everything, unnoticed, unfazed, undefeated. So, take this path, embrace the darkness, and learn that in silence, in stillness, in waiting, you can become the most dangerous person in the room, and nobody will even know it until it's too late. You want to know why the greatest, the ones who truly wield power, never get caught? It's simple. They never make their masters feel threatened. They know that power isn't about showing off what you have, it's about keeping it hidden, keeping it controlled. If you ever find yourself beneath someone with power, remember this. Never, never let them see your true strength. Never let them know that you have more to offer than they do. The most dangerous thing you can do, the thing that will cost you everything, is outshining the master. If you make them feel small, if you make them feel like they are no longer the brightest in the room, you will become their enemy. They will crush you without hesitation, no matter how close you thought you were, no matter how much you believed you had control. Never forget, when you make your master feel inferior, you are playing with fire, and it will burn you alive. Think about Fouquet, a man who had everything: wealth, power, influence. He thought he could dazzle Louis XIV, the Sun King, with his opulence, with the grandeur of his party, believing that by putting on the most extravagant display ever seen, he would elevate himself in the king's eyes. But what did he actually do? He triggered the king's insecurity. He made Louis feel small, insignificant, in the face of all that brilliance. And what happened? The king destroyed him. Louis XIV, obsessed with his own image, couldn't bear to see anyone, even someone he had once trusted, outshine him. That's the reality of power. It's fragile, insecure, and it must be guarded fiercely. You want power? You want control? You don't get it by showing your strength and making everyone see your brilliance. No, you get it by making those in power feel superior, even when you are the true genius, even when you know you have what it takes to crush them. Make them think they are the sun, while you wait patiently in the shadows. The moment you make them feel threatened, the moment you shine too brightly, you seal your own fate. Never forget this truth. The most powerful are always the most fragile. Their confidence? It's a mask, a carefully crafted illusion to hide the cracks in their soul. Their power? It's nothing more than a crumbling house of cards, delicately balanced, ready to collapse at the slightest tremor. They walk the world with their heads held high, but beneath the surface, they are terrified. Terrified of exposure, terrified of being unmasked. And once you understand that fear, you hold the keys to control. Take Louis XIV, the so-called Sun King. He ruled with an iron fist, but his reign was built on a foundation of insecurity. His vanity ran deeper than the deepest oceans. He surrounded himself with wealth, glory, and magnificence to hide the truth, that inside he was terrified of being overshadowed, of being exposed as weak, as insignificant. Everything he built, all the power he wielded, was just a shield against his own self-doubt. He needed to be the center of the world, the brightest star in the sky, because if anyone else dared to shine brighter, it would expose his greatest fear, that he was nothing without his image. And then came Fouquet. Fouquet, who dared to shine too brightly. Fouquet, who dared to show the king that there were others who could match, even surpass, his magnificence. He thought he could elevate himself in the king's eyes, but what he didn't understand was the nature of power. The moment you make the master feel inferior, you set yourself up for destruction. Louis XIV didn't care about the brilliance of Fouquet's party. He didn't care about the wealth or the grandeur. What terrified him was that for one moment, he was no longer the brightest in the room. That one instant of exposure was enough to crumble everything. And in his terror, Louis destroyed him. That's the cold truth of power. The master is terrified of being overshadowed, of having their fragile ego shattered. And the moment you threaten their sense of superiority, you've already won. They will come after you with everything they have. But remember, they are fighting their own fear. They are fighting the very thing that makes them weak. So the next time you encounter someone in power, understand this. Their strength is a lie, built on fragile foundations. Expose them, not with force, but with your subtlety. Make them feel smaller, make them question their own superiority, and you will hold all the power. The true masters never fear the battle. They fear the exposure of their own weakness. And that is the moment you can crush them. Manipulation doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be forceful or even obvious. True power is quiet, subtle, silent, but deadly. The true masters of manipulation don't announce their moves. They don't push. They don't shove. They don't force their will upon others. They bend the world to their desires without anyone even realizing it. You must learn this art. Learn to make others believe they are the center of the universe. Their ego, their vanity, it's all that matters. Build them up, stroke their fragile pride, flatter them, shower them with admiration and praise until they are drunk on their own sense of superiority. Make them believe they are invincible. Make them believe that their brilliance shines brighter than anyone else's. Make them feel like they are the rulers of the world. But here's the real trick. You must never reveal your true strength. Pretend to be the fool. Pretend to be beneath them, even if you are the greatest force in the room. Play the part of the lesser, while secretly watching, learning, and waiting. Let them think they are in control, that they are the ones in the driver's seat, because that's when you can strike. You see, power doesn't come from being the loudest or the strongest. It comes from being the most dangerous. And danger is never seen, because those who wield it know how to stay hidden. You operate in the shadows while they bask in the false glory you've built around them. The real power isn't in your brilliance. It's in knowing how to make the master believe they are the most brilliant. They will never see the manipulation coming because they're too busy looking at their own reflection in the mirror you've held up for them. You don't need to tear them down to take control. All you need is to build them up enough to make them believe they are untouchable, and that's when they'll fall. So, stop seeking recognition. Stop craving attention. Master the subtle art of control. Let them think they hold the keys to the kingdom, while you silently weave the threads of power that will make them dance at your will. Because in the end, true power isn't about who sees you. It's about who remains blind to you until it's too late. You want to know the greatest weapon? Patience. It is your greatest strength, and it will bring the mightiest to their knees. Power isn't about rushing in, flailing with force, trying to seize control through reckless aggression. No, true power is claimed when the moment is perfect. It's taken when the enemy's weaknesses are laid bare, when their arrogance starts to crack, when their confidence falters and their defenses crumble. Patience isn't about waiting passively. It's not about sitting back and hoping for the world to hand you power. No, it's about watching. It's about observing, studying, understanding. You wait, quietly, steadily, calculating your every move. While they boast, while they think they're untouchable, you're preparing. You're learning their fears, their weaknesses, their desires, and you wait for the moment when they reveal their cracks. You see, the most dangerous predators don't strike at the first sign of weakness. They wait until their prey is fully exposed, until they can't run, until they are trapped in their own delusions. Then, and only then, do they make their move. A single, lethal strike. Patience doesn't mean inactivity. It means preparation. It means making every move count when it's your time to strike. Power is not rushed. It's claimed when it's earned, when the enemy has already put themselves in a position of defeat. The greatest warriors, the greatest tacticians, they don't act hastily. They act when everything aligns. They strike when the target is ripe for the taking. Learn to embrace patience. It's the weapon you wield in the shadows while the world dances in the chaos of impatience. Because when you're patient, when you're prepared, you will seize what's rightfully yours. And you will do it without a single wasted move, without a single drop of sweat. You will strike, and they will fall. If you truly want to take power, you need to accept one brutal truth. Mercy is for the weak. Ruthlessness is for the strong. Power doesn't belong to the merciful. It belongs to those who have the strength to crush their enemies without hesitation, without remorse. When the time comes, when your enemy stumbles, when they show any sign of weakness, don't hesitate to destroy them. Mercy is a weakness, a mask that hides your own fear of losing. And that fear? It's an invitation for someone else to come in and claim what you've earned. Power demands ruthlessness. It demands that you strike when your enemy is vulnerable, that you tear down their walls when they are at their lowest, when their confidence is shattered and they no longer have the strength to fight back. When the master is weak, that is when you strike. That is when you crush their ego, destroy their sense of superiority, and take everything they have. Leave nothing. No shred of their former glory, no remnant of the power they once held. Remember this: you are not here to be merciful. You are here to win. Power is not a game of kindness, of second chances. It is a game of domination, a game of control. And if you want to play it, you must understand one simple rule. Mercy is the weapon of the weak. Ruthlessness is the key to victory. When you can strike without hesitation, when you can leave your enemies in the dust without a single regret, that is when you'll know you've truly claimed power. Here's the brutal truth. Pride will kill you. Arrogance will destroy you. The moment you believe you're untouchable, the moment you start to think that no one can reach you, that's the moment your fall begins. Pride is your greatest enemy, and the arrogance that comes with it blinds you to reality. It convinces you that you're invincible, that you can outshine the very forces that hold power. But it's only a matter of time before that arrogance becomes your downfall. Look at Sen no Rikyu. He reached the pinnacle of his art, the master of the tea ceremony, revered by all. But with that position came an overwhelming arrogance. He thought his power was unshakable, that his position was too high to be touched. So, he made a fatal mistake. He challenged the emperor himself. Rikyu's pride blinded him. He thought he could defy the very forces that made him, but he was wrong. His arrogance led him to believe that he was invincible, that he could take on even the highest authority without consequence. And that arrogance led to his downfall. Understand this. Pride is the most dangerous thing you can embrace. It makes you believe you can never fall. It makes you think you can outshine the master, the one who holds the keys to your survival. But the truth is simple. You must never outshine the master unless you are certain they are ready to fall. Stay low. Stay unseen. Never reveal your full strength. Never let anyone know just how dangerous you are. When the time comes, when you are ready, your power will rise naturally and it will speak for itself. Until then, remain hidden in the shadows. Wait for the perfect moment to strike, because those who rise too fast, too high, will always crash the hardest. Remember, it's not about how loud you can roar or how bright you can shine. It's about knowing when to remain silent, when to stay in the shadows, and when to strike. Pride will kill you. Arrogance blinds you. Be patient. When the time comes, your power will be unstoppable. Weakness doesn't announce itself. It doesn't scream, doesn't shout, doesn't flash a neon sign. Weakness creeps. It moves like a silent predator in the night, inching its way into the very fabric of a man's soul, only revealing itself in those quiet moments of vulnerability, those cracks in the armor when the master stumbles. That's when you must strike, when the facade shatters and the beast is revealed for what it truly is. Don't wait for weakness to present itself. Make it happen, like the great Borgia. He understood this better than anyone. The young prince who once overshadowed him, the one who seemed untouchable, he became the perfect target. Cesare Borgia saw his opportunity. The prince was slipping, his power was waning, and the cracks in his control were starting to show. And Cesare did what every master should. He pounced. He didn't wait for the prince to fall. He made him fall. He struck when it was darkest, when the prince's strength was most vulnerable, and he took everything. This is the game of power. Weakness doesn't announce itself. It doesn't come with a warning. It emerges in those quiet, unseen moments. When you see the master falter, when you see them make the slightest misstep, that's your moment. Rise, step into the void that they've left, and claim what is rightfully yours. But do not be merciful. Mercy is a luxury for the weak. When you see weakness, you must exploit it. Use it as your weapon. Make no mistake, weakness is not to be pitied. It's an opportunity to conquer. So when you see your master slip, don't hesitate. Do not wait. Step in. Take everything. No mercy. This is not a game for the faint-hearted. Those who rise above, those who conquer, are the ones who know how to crush weakness when it shows itself. And when you do, you will find that it's not the strongest who rule the world, it's the ones who know how to find weakness and turn it into power. Remember this: weakness is the doorway. The only question is, are you ready to step through it? Silence. The one weapon that most fail to understand. The one weapon that the weak fear. The one that the strong never truly master. It is your greatest ally, your most powerful tool, and it speaks louder than any roar of power ever could. The loudest voices are always the weakest. They shout, they scream, they make sure everyone knows their every move. But true power is quiet. It doesn't need to be announced. It doesn't need to shout for attention. It simply waits, observes, and moves in the shadows. The loudest are the ones who fear silence, who cannot handle the quiet. They fill the air with noise because they are unsure of themselves, unsure of their place in the world, and they are easily destroyed. Look at the silent observers, the ones who never reveal their true thoughts, their deepest plans. They are the mysteries, the ones who blend into the background, who keep their cards close to their chest, who never show their hand. People underestimate silence. They think it's a weakness, a void. But it's in that silence that the most dangerous minds plot. They are the true power brokers, the ones who pull the strings from the shadows, never revealing themselves. They don't need to make noise. Their silence is a declaration, a warning. In silence, there is strength. In silence, there is control. Remember this: your thoughts are weapons, your actions are the strike, but your silence is your shield. The world will scream for your attention, demand that you speak your every move, but you must never give them the satisfaction. Never let anyone hear your true intentions. Never let them see the storm that's brewing within you. If you can master silence, if you can hold your thoughts close and make your actions speak louder than your words, you will become untouchable. Think about the ones who remain in the shadows, who never feel the need to speak. They are the ones who rule the room without ever uttering a word. They observe, they wait, they make their move at the perfect moment, and the world doesn't even realize what hit them. Master the art of silence, and you will control the game. Never forget, the loud will always fall, the quiet will always rise. When you speak, let it be when it matters. Let it be the strike, not the warning. The less they know about you, the less they can control you. And in that silence, you will find your power. This is the way of the dark. The way of those who understand that power isn't given, it's taken. It's not about being loud. It's not about making your name known. It's about playing the game, bending it to your will, until your every move is calculated and your every step is measured. Power doesn't come to those who shout for it. It comes to those who wait, who observe, and who strike when the moment is perfect. In this world, you never show your hand. You never let the master know what you truly possess. Never let them feel your strength until you are ready to take it all. You wait for their weaknesses, for the cracks to form in their empire, and when they stumble, you are there to claim what is yours. Until that moment, you remain in the shadows. You are not like the others. The others fight for glory, for recognition, for the fleeting moments of attention. But you are different. You understand the truth. The master's greatest fear is not being surpassed. It's being exposed. And when that time comes, you will rise. You will rise from the shadows, and the world, thinking you are nothing, will be forced to bow before you. But remember, the true masters don't follow the rules. They create their own. They move in silence. They operate in the dark. And they carve their own path to power. There are no limits, no boundaries. Only the will to dominate, the ability to make the world bend and break under your command. So now, step into the darkness. Let go of the need for validation. Let go of the rules that bind you. The throne is waiting for those who know how to claim it. And you are ready. The darkness is calling. Only the ones who understand the game, who wait in silence and strike with precision, will ever claim the power they deserve. If you're ready to rise from the shadows, to move in ways that others can't even begin to fathom, then this is where your journey begins. The knowledge you need, the power you crave, is within your grasp. But remember, not everyone is capable of wielding it. If you think you have what it takes to navigate the shadows, to master the art of control and manipulation, then subscribe now. The true path to power isn't for the weak, and if you're still here, it's because you know you're ready to embrace it. Don't let the world control you. Take what is rightfully yours. Join us and start your ascent to the throne.